You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com. This is going to be a lengthy one. Dear Cappy, your videos have helped me out a lot along the way, and since I'm doing well, I wanted to share a lesson for your audience that I learned the hard way, and that is never take a contract to hire or a contract to permanent job. Especially if you're considering it because they're dangling but you'll become permanent after 90 days / after 6 months, after a year, because they are lying to you. You can safely assume all employers are lying to you at least a little bit. But yeah, the contract, I've never worked a contract to hire job where there was a permanent job at the end of it. They do use that to dangle the carrot, so I do agree with the client. Nowadays, maybe it's a little bit more desperate. It sounds great on paper, but I've rarely seen it played out in the real world. Again, you're talking to a guy, though, who hasn't really worked a real job in about 10 years. I haven't been on a job in 10 years. And by the way, HR Quanta ha-has, fuck you. I'm not bowing down and I have 10 years. That's got to piss you women off that there's a guy out there who hasn't had to bow down and suck the dick of HR. Oh my God, you have feral men running free without paying their homage to you. What the hell? Anyway. It's easy to overlook the risks if you're really trying to quit from somewhere and would take anything. I made such a mistake fairly recently, and here's what happened. Back in late 2018, I was looking hard for a job change. I'm 37. I work in contracts consulting for government agencies. Late in the summer of 2018, my cool boss moved on, and they promoted a 32-year-oldish blonde bimbo with a bachelor's degree in communication and barely 5 years of experience to take over and manage 50 people, mostly older and way more qualified. Yep, but that's corporate America, large corporations, and the government and schools are all the same thing now. They are not entities of efficiency or profitability or production. They're political entities. I've seen it where there was a guy who was transitioning, which is cool, go transition, no one's bothering you. But it was an IT or an engineering conference, and all he wanted to talk about was transitioning problems that people face. Had nothing to do, and my God, everyone at that company, the conference, bowed down and bent over for him. And now this guy, who is not transgender, but is first and foremost a victim, abusing his transgenderism to advance himself to a position of power, he will ruin the company. Because now knowing it's not about producing widgets, it's about whatever his name is. Don't hurt Bob's feelings. That's what it is right now. But that's what's happening. Yeah, I mean, this gal probably had the right connections. We're going to rah-rah women and forget meritocracy, forget experience. Hell, there was even an article written about how, pretty much a lot of guys are just bailing on corporate America. It's forget it. It's not meritocratic. I bust my ass off. I've been passed over for promotion twice, and it's painfully obvious because that person had a vagina and not a penis. Forget it. So yeah, this does not surprise me at all. Separate problem from going temp to permanent. It seemed to me that if you look like a Barbie doll and speak well, the sky's the limit. Yes, yes it is. Beautiful women the sky's the limit. If you could show up on time and have a skill and not be late, it's amazing what a nice set of tits will do for you. So exactly how you were probably imagining her. She was one of those pretty girls in high school. There were pictures plastered all over the internet of her in college, in and out, about a group of 12 hot blonde friends. These are girls who would never look at me if I said hi at a bar. Dude, now you're acting like the jealous little fucking incel. Now you got a problem. Yes, it's very unfair that hot chicks with big tits who could show up on time make 6 figures. Now you're like, those bitches wouldn't go out with me, and I wasn't paid enough for that. There goes with that, but there's even easy to find risque stuff out of her who get most people fired or talking to if found. Well, yeah, it's a double standard. She was loud, aggressive, snooty, and narcissistic. I believe you. She was used to getting what she wanted handed to her and never being told no. When I see girl boss desk name placard on a girl's online dating profile, this is who I think of. And as you could imagine, things started to unravel. Extremely qualified people began to quit left and right. That should have been a wake-up call. Yes, dude, You get an affirmative action hire or some nepotistic or daddy's boy as a hire, you get the fuck off that ship. You leave. You start sending out resumes. Absolutely. I know some people who are working at a company right now where the original founders of the company are going to be going into retirement and they're lining up their kids to take over. That company will... Look, the company's not going to exist long term because the kids are going to drive it into the ground. But why suffer the pain and agony and psychological bullshit of having inept 25-year-old college graduates barking orders to people who've been busting their asses off for longer careers than these kids have been alive? You just leave. Just leave, man. Unemployment at like 4%. Now's the time to go find a new job. She was a terrible manager. The morale of the group went from good to poor in a short couple of months. They had trouble getting and retaining quality talent to backfill because word got around. I've been getting calls from former colleagues saying they've just left and things are still as bad or worse. Right, so they're not going to fire her because, again, it is not profit or productivity that matters. It's politics. That's all that matters at this particular division. Had I not seen it firsthand, I would have never imagined that something like this could be allowed to happen. I was shocked. Keeping her there was totally ideological and favoritism driven. Yes. And this is a large Fortune 500 company. All right, yeah, I told you. They criticize him as they may. The baby boomers at least adhere to somewhat of a profit motive. Like, if we don't get money in here, we're not going to be able to pay our people. Now it's all politics. The millennials and Gen Xers, especially the Gen Xers, are all about politics. And they are so uneducated and so stupid. They don't know why profit is ultimately what matters. Because without profit, you don't have the money to pay people. People, they really just think companies exist out of thin air for shits and giggles. Like the capital raised by investors they just charitably gave it to you. Like, well, yeah, go start a company. I don't care if you make profit or not. Yeah, I don't need my capital back. I hear a lot of corporate leadership wants to see young, attractive women succeed in roles like this. Yes, they do. This is why you do not bother working at large corporations in the United States, especially if you're a guy. But if you are about meritocracy and you want to do your best, you don't work for corporate America at all. Competent organizations are supposed to say to a poor manager, many of your direct reports have continued to leave since you started. They've almost all cited problems with you in their exit interviews. You assume, oh dude, you are so foolish and idealistic and naive. Corporate America never cared about exit interviews. They really don't. They above all else, they cared about compliance, which initially did lead to some element of profit, but now it's all they don't care about exit interview. Morale's fallen off significantly since you've been in this role. You've got to go. It's not going to happen. I thought to myself, I didn't bust my ass to get my MBA, put 10 years in, and work my way up in this field just to have this snooty, unqualified bitch have a power trip with me. I just need to get out of here. Smart move. I cast a wide net with resumes everywhere. The highest paying and most immediately available position was a contract to hire position to do basically the kind of work I was already doing. When I asked the recruiter about the stability in light of the stories I've heard about these, I was told, almost all those people get converted to full-time after 6 months. No, you don't believe that. The one was offered was converted at 3. When I asked if I would be given feedback, if there was ever an issue along the way, of course, she said, of course. The guy you interviewed me, something was just off. He seemed super negative, grumpy, or autistic. That's when you leave. I don't know why I didn't listen to my gut, but something told me this guy was going to be a problem. He was. But I also really wanted to get out of there, and it was going to go from 105 to 120K a year. So in this new job, I wasn't really given any work to do. I wasn't included in any meetings or really involved in anything. I would often need to ask for things to do. That's when you leave. Like, if they don't have their shit together by day 2, where it's like, okay, I should know what I have to do, and there should be stuff for me to do by day 2. Day 1, hey, this is Bob, this is Amy in accounting. Hi, how you doing? My name's Bob. Yeah, day 2, they better have their fucking shit together. I've worked at many companies, big and small, where there was no reason for me to have a job. There was no reason to have a job. We just need an analyst. We need a guy like I'm like, okay, well, what's the job? Well, we haven't figured that out yet. I'm like, oh, you guys are fucking idiots then, aren't you? Months in, they were still saying the full-time conversion was going to happen soon. One day in early April, around 4 p.m. 90 days, actually, the guy who hired me says, let's go grab a conference room. We went in, sat down, I asked what's going on. He says, I have 2 pieces of bad news. 1, the company is going to be doing the conversion. 2, I have to have you all collect all your things today. Can I ask why? I asked. A number of clients haven't been happy with your work. You could tell he was just making stuff up on the fly. Yes. You don't know the ineptitude 2-3 levels above you, but that's probably what was going on. Some dumbass MBA-laden fuck who was a baby boomer gray hair or some incompetent Gen Xer didn't put together, they didn't work. They just didn't do their job. Well, I guess we need people. They hired you for whatever reason, I don't know. You don't even know to this day. That's corporate America. Why am I just being told this right now? I haven't been getting any performance feedback or told anything isn't working out. He had no specifics. There's just a certain rigor that we haven't been seeing from you. We thought after a few months you'd have been catching on more. Many clients don't even know who you are when we approach them about you. You should have made more of a footprint by now. They never included me. Now they're cutting me 3 months later for not knowing enough. Doesn't this seem suspect at all? It does, but that's standard. This is why you always go self-employment, guys. This is why you're a contractor. This is why when you go up front and negotiate, it's like there are going to be clear objectives. You have to treat your employer like a retarded redheaded stepchild. Are these really the duties? I'm writing this down now. Is this really the duties that I have to do? Okay, because 3 weeks from now, you say, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing my day. You cannot, or I cannot, even begin to describe how inept most corporate American managers are. They're fucking morons. They're liars. They're inept. We could argue the debate, are they inept because they're so stupid or are they inept because they're consciously evil? It doesn't matter. They're inept. On the way out, I said there was probably a better way to handle it than just tell a guy with no notice that it's his last day. There was no way to do it that makes everyone 1% happy. I know you're the last to know, even though you're impacted the most, but this happens to people every day, he said. Yeah, but okay, if it's happening to people every day, who's that a reflection upon? You or the management? If they're hiring people, not giving them work to do, and then they're firing everybody, well, that's not the employee's fault. Went home, got drunk, woke up the next morning, and made 2 phone calls. From that, I ended up being offered a job that I started 3 weeks later at $125,000. While waiting on my new start date, I learned from a former colleague that they had a new person in my seat the next fucking day. And he was already a permanent employee of the firm. He just moved to the assignment. I asked what they said about my being let go. He said he just came in the next morning and said Bill is no longer on the project, and that was it. He's been very tight-lipped about it. We were wondering if you're all right. I've never been fired in my 15-plus post-college career. I know sometimes you're hired on qualifications and fired on fit. I'm not saying that here. Federal contracts for 10-plus years, and I wasn't catching on. Yeah, right. I'm reminded. Yeah, no, there's ineptitude. Dude, just go watch these people. Find out who your replacement was there. And see, it could be your replacement was like the sucking the boss's dick or the boss's nephew. I'm being serious. It could have just been that. I can only surmise that this was a result of disingenuous nature of contract to hire employment. Maybe, or just general corporate America bullshit. They say contract instead of temp like they did in the 90s to be taken more seriously. It's anything but. That's why I'm here to say if you're ever approached by a recruiter for someone they call contract to hire and told you've just got to get through the 90-day trial period, don't worry, everyone does. Tell them to fuck off. I wouldn't tell them to fuck off. Look, an offer is an offer, an opportunity is an opportunity. You say, oh, really? Well, you're going to pay me X amount of money, and if you don't like that, go pound. I mean, you got to look at yourself as a contract for hire, hired gun. That's really what you got to do. And I think that's the future, frankly. It's like, no, you're going to pay me this hourly wage. I will find my own health care. Thank you. And if you go fuck off and die, I guess, that's fine by me. You are always on the hunt for new jobs. You always are. So I don't know if it's contract to hire. I wouldn't contract to hire. It'd be like, we'll see about that hire thing later. But you're going to pay me for 90 days? All right, yeah. Well, here's my hourly rate. Well, too bad. I guess you can go find Jill, Maybe ask, I'm sorry, is this contract employment? Like if they just let me go without cause, they have to pay a bunch of money and watch them squirm. Only take something like this if you're unemployed and desperate for anything. Then leave with no notice when you find something solid because that's how they'll get rid of you. Yeah, dude, if you find a better job, yes, give you 2 weeks notice. But if they've been treating you like dicks, then yeah, see ya, bye. I mean, go walk in and say, you're fired. And oh, by the way, I'm filming this so that if I ever have somebody come and ask for an employment reference and you say that you fired me, I'm going to sue the motherfucking shit out of you. And you walk out and leave. It's amazing how quickly they crash. Or collapse. Crack. Only takes something like this if you're unemployed. I like a video response. Basically, your reactions to and thoughts on both situations. Anything you have on contract to hire, whether my experience seems corroborated with what you know, or if I'm just off base here. Mine have been contract to hire was always temporary. There was no job at the end. I take it back. There was one time I did a contract to hire. It was at Wells Fargo, and for once they were honest. They were one of the honest people there. Which is weird coming from Wells Fargo, but that's Wells Fargo of 25 years ago. It happened once, but every other attempt to hire job, it was you come in, it's a fucking shit show. It's a fucking shit show. If you keep in mind, if you're going contract to hire an independent contractor, you're not like, oh, this is a critical position and we need a guy or a gal to fill this, and we have the duties very clear. It's usually some labor pool of nondescript, like, you gotta go where, I don't know, maybe we need someone to make fax machines, maybe we need someone to make copies, can you go, and you're not, the team leads who are getting a contract to hire, if you're hiring recruiters to find you just mass labor, you're not exactly the top division and the most efficiently managed division of the company. So contract to hire, temp to hire, yeah, take it, but don't expect it to be around. And you know what? Make it worth your while. Because you're not going to get attempt to hire. You're like, oh, that's cute. That's going to be, yeah. In the meantime, I'm not going to lower my wage in the hopes and prospects of getting a full-time job. It's kind of like, well, you get equity. You're in the ground floor. Fuck you, you Silicon Valley fucks. You lying sacks of shit. Fuck you, pay me. And so you say, no, I need $25 an hour. Oh, you pay 70, but then there might be that, no, fuck you, pay me. That's what it is. And then with Tiddlywinks getting hired over everybody else. Yeah, that's going to happen for 3 reasons, 2 of which have been always going on. Hot chicks that show up on time will always get promoted because they're better looking than you. Who wants to look at your ugly mug? 2, there's probably some kind of nepotistic connection. Daddy got her the job. She sucked the right guy's dick. I'm not joking. I'm not being facetious. But the third, and more common one nowadays, is that it is policy of corporate America to put someone's genitalia, to put their, color above their character. They are being bigoted. They are being racist, or in this particular case, sexist, where they value genitalia over character. And it's okay because it's affirmative action, even though it's not okay. It's completely wrong. It's completely immoral. It's completely amoral. You're promoting people who don't deserve it, or there are other hardworking people who do. And I've predicted this before, that in our lifetimes, you're going to see American corporations, these big Fortune 500 companies, turn into the Korean chaebols or the Japanese keiretsus, where they're perpetual money losers. They're perpetually getting bailed out. There might be some corporations that are like at the right moment, at the right time, like a Google or a Facebook, where they just have a monopoly, their first action move. They're protecting their market real well. So you'd have to be you'd have to be criminally brilliant to screw it up. So they could hire a monkey to go do the job, and a monkey, they'll still make a profit. So they can kind of get away with a fair amount of affirmative action and some kind of But over time, as economics and efficiency and competition starts to enter the market, Gillette will see this, which is Procter & Gamble. Wait, let me double check that. Let me make sure. Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble. With their, like, frankly, we hate men video or commercial, they're going to suffer because they don't have a monopoly on the shaving market. But yeah, that's so my opinion on that is, for actionable items, young men and women should not be looking. If you're a hustler, if you want to be a politician, you want to live off the color of your skin or your plumbing downstairs, and you're willing to be basically a piece of shit and like get by like, I got girl power, go to Moxie. Okay, fine. Go work corporate America. Be prepared to work in an insane asylum, but go work corporate America. But for those of you that are serious, you want to work hard, you want to do your best, corporate America is the Titanic. It is over. They're promoting people based on the color of their skin and their gender and not the content of their character, which is the exact opposite we had been fighting for all this. This is not equality. So why would you bust your ass off to work for something that simply is not fair? And these places will become catty, political, insane asylums, because if it's not about profit, what's it about? Status, power, attitude, who's got this, who's got that car in the parking lot? Oh, you go, girlfriend. Did you hear Tina talk about me? You don't have time for that. You go in as the outside contractor specialist who bills out at $250 an hour. Like, I'll go do that from the comfort of my own home. Because you have no competent people because you hired based on skin color and genitalia and not their resume. So you don't have the best people. You need the best people. I'm that best person. By the way, I'm getting my pound of flesh back by charging you an egregious fucking sum of money per hour. That's how you do it. And contract to hire is how you get it. It's like, no, I'm not. You don't have to, guys. Just go work security. And until they offer you enough money that's worth your while, you say, nah, I'm not interested. You don't want to have it where you are desperate enough. Yeah, you got to have one job. Okay, go work one job. But you always have a job that you can survive on, so that when they come up with you, like, well, we can pay you $17.40 an hour, but not $17.50. Like, yeah, I'm thinking more like $30 an hour, motherfucker, and I get to work from home. And if you don't like that, go fuck yourself. Oh, no, go find someone else. But that person will get fired. It's almost, you got to use them. Like, how many months of money don't even put on your resume. Like, I can get this for 2 months. I could use some extra scratch. I could pay off some credit card bills with this. That's almost what you get. You got to use them like they're trying to use you. And then when the 90 days come up on day 88, like, hey, yeah, see you, bye, I'm out of here. But. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, ASOconsulting.com. Links down below. I got to bang out the rest of the stuff because I want to go enjoy the Black Hills. So see you guys later. Toodles.